Hello, Joe here from Infiniti of Tacoma. Today I'm going to tell you about this awesome 2018 Tesla Model 3 dual motor long range that we have for sale. If you're in the market for an electric vehicle, I think the Tesla Model 3 is one of the best in the world. And it's not just my opinion, obviously, a lot of people's opinion. The Model 3 is one of the best-selling EVs in the world, one of the best-selling EVs in the United States for a very good reason. Tesla has been in the battery and electric car business for a very long time. They started making electric cars I think it was around 97 or 98 with the Tesla Roadster. Back then, gas was cheap. Not too many other manufacturers were thinking about EVs or taking them quite as seriously as Tesla. But since Tesla had a head start, I think they still have a head start as far as battery technology efficiency goes. From what I see, I don't see any other vehicles that can get as much distance in miles for the size for the size of the battery that Tesla has. And that's always something to remember, that you might see electric vehicles that might have a longer range than another electric vehicle, but they might just be stuffing a larger battery pack in the vehicle to get that extra range. But Tesla, if you look at some of the comparable vehicles that have similar range, you'll see that the Tesla's battery pack is often a lot smaller than other vehicles that get the same range or even less range than the Tesla, because Teslas are very good at getting the most efficiency out of their electric vehicles. There's a certain synergy to Tesla products that not all other vehicles have, and a big part of that is the way that Teslas are built. Tesla is a vertically integrated company, so most of the manufacturing, a good part of the manufacturing of the vehicles is handled by Tesla, or a lot of other car companies, a lot of other OEMs, they rely on part suppliers and third-party parts makers to build their vehicles, so it's not all controlled by the other OEMs. Tesla is very unique in this way, and I think they've all learned a big lesson from Tesla's business model, because Tesla's profit margins on their cars, how fast they build cars, are in a lot of ways superior to what everyone else is doing. So now they're all playing catch up. But talking about this Tesla, this Model 3 is a 2018 long range dual motor. In 2018, there are a couple different versions of the 3. They had the mid-range later to become the standard range or standard range plus. Then you had a long range rear wheel drive, which just had a single electric motor in the back. Then we have a dual motor long range. Now, if you look at brand new Model 3s, the only way you can get a long range, and I think that's been the case since 2019, is with dual motors. So this has two motors. It has a motor in the front, a motor in the back, which makes it all-wheel drive. It also makes it very fast, because it has, it's like having two engines. Very, very fast vehicle. And it gives it all-wheel drive. And so you have a range of about 300 miles when fully charged, and the range can depend on conditions, type of driving you're doing, highway, around town, things like that. Outside temperature, is it raining? All those things can affect vehicle range. Another unique thing about the Model 3 and the Model Y is the way the functionality is set up. You can see that really the interior is quite sparse. Most of the functionality, the settings, display is centralized into this screen right here. There's some positives and negatives to that. I've seen a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people might criticize the Tesla's interior as being sparse and boring. Not much in there, but I kind of like it. For me, it's an automotive breath of fresh air. Being in lots of fancy cars with buttons everywhere, it's almost overwhelming. Sometimes it can be a little bit too cluttered. So I kind of like the clean sheet design of the Model 3. It's kind of like a sensory deprivation chamber. It's very quiet, very clean, kind of clears your mind. But there's also another perk about having the functionality controlled in the screen. Basically, since most of the buttons and functionality is controlled to the screen, the car is almost infinitely configurable. Tesla is constantly rolling out over-the-air updates. So even though this vehicle is a 2018, just like the rest of them, it's getting updates monthly, quarterly, so it's constantly being improved. It's constantly gaining features. For instance, a couple months ago, they did an over-the-air update where they set up the cameras inside the vehicle, well, not the inside, but on the side cameras, to have a blind spot camera. So now when you put the turn signal on, it pulls up a camera view of your blind spot. That's something that this car did not have for years, but they did an over-the-air update, and now it's gained this feature. Not an easy thing to do when you have, you know, the functionality connected to hard buttons. You know, on any other vehicle besides a Tesla, it's very hard to add things like that. And they've added features where they've upgraded the display of the screen. They've added features where you can have extra apps to watch. They've added TikTok and Twitch, Disney Plus, Hulu. They're constantly adding video games. They're constantly adding features to the toy box. It can do a light show for you. You can have that silly whoopee cushion thing. They've had that for a while. Now they have a colorizer, so if you wrap your vehicle, you can actually change the color of your vehicle with the colorizer. So if you wrap it and have a different color on the outside, or just for fun, you can change your car's avatar to any color you want pretty much with a colorizer. Things like that. We also have premium connectivity. It's $10 a month, but I think it's well worth it. Premium connectivity basically gives you a cell phone data going right to the vehicle, and it's pretty cool. You can get all sorts of nice features with the premium connectivity. You can stream music, you can stream Netflix and YouTube, you can fire up the internet browser, all sorts of cool stuff like that. Then for finding charging, you can use the navigation system to find charging. So you have regular charging, destination charging, and of course, the one for the road trips is a supercharging, and there's superchargers all over the place. There's two within 6 miles of me. There's one in Lacey, and Tesla's constantly adding these superchargers. There's 30,000 superchargers throughout the world, the majority of them in the United States. So pretty much you could drive almost anywhere in the United States with this Model 3 and be able to get to your destination utilizing the supercharging. And obviously, with a 300 miles of a full charge, you know, this is going to cover most driving needs for most people on a daily basis. And for most people on road trips, I think the same thing. And the other thing you have to think about is when you set up efficient charging in your house, 220 or 240 charging, not that hard to do. Basically, your house is a gas station. It's like having an electric toothbrush. You use your electric toothbrush, you put it in the charger, and then the next time you go to brush your teeth, you have a full charge. You go out doing some errands and stuff, you come home, you plug your car in, you wake up the next morning, guess what? You have a full charge. And you know, when you do supercharging, obviously you're going to pay a little bit extra money because it's a service. But when you charge at home, us in the Pacific Northwest, we have very, very low electricity costs. So that's where it's going to save you money. And it's also going to save you money on maintenance. Pretty much the maintenance items on an electric car like this that you're going to have to worry about are tires, you know, wipers, air filters. But the brakes, because of regenerative braking, you're going to get probably well over 100,000 miles out of your brakes. You know, you're not going to have to worry about changing oil. Fuck. Then the other thing is functionality. Tesla's app is pretty amazing. You can use your phone as a key on the Model 3. You schedule your service, you communicate with service, pay through service all through the app. You can purchase upgrades. If someone else is using your vehicle or you're in a big parking lot, you can find the location of your vehicle. You can also send it navigation coordinates. If you're outside your vehicle and it's, you know, you want to preheat it, you can put your heated seats on, you can put your climate control on. You can monitor the state of charging. If someone else has a Tesla app, you can add them as a driver. They just have to have the app, and then you can add them as a driver, and they don't need another key. It's amazing. I could go on probably for an hour talking about this car. Unfortunately, I don't, and you probably don't. So let's keep this video moving along. So nice, comfortable interior. The Tesla Model 3 is about the same size as like a BMW 3 Series Mercedes C-Class or our own product, the Q50. So it's what we'd call a compact or mid-size luxury sedan. The floor is completely flat because there's no transmission tunnels, no drive shafts. And because the weight of the batteries is so low to the ground, this thing handles like a sports car. It also makes it very safe because of the weight of the batteries being so low. It has a very low center of gravity. In fact, it's very, very difficult to get this thing to roll over. Even if you could roll it over and get it on its roof, the weight of the batteries is just going to put it right back on its wheels. And if you look at NHTSA's crash test ratings, the Model 3 is actually the safest vehicle tested by NHTSA. By every metric they have, lowest probability of injury, lowest rollover risk, You know, and you can hear people, you know, give scare tactics about, you know, electric vehicles. Oh, there's a, you know, the risk of fires and stuff like that. Well, you know, gas is pretty easy to catch on fire. You know, take a gallon of gas or take a handful of batteries and get a lighter and see which one's easier to catch on fire. Don't do that, but you kind of get the idea I'm putting in front of you. Also, you know, this is the reason why it's safe. You know, normally a car will have an engine here, but there's no engine here, so you have a crumple zone that's 60% larger than a conventional car with an engine in the front of it. So you have all this space to absorb crash energy. And it's not just you know, the way the way the car is constructed that makes it safe. It's also the software, the autopilot with its auto steer, adaptive cruise control makes it very safe. And the autopilot is constantly being upgraded and made better by Tesla. And right now they're averaging about, a vehicle operating on autopilot is averaging about 1 accident for every 4 million miles driven, compared to average vehicle with a driver behind the wheel. Most vehicles in the United States average about 1 accident every 500,000 miles driven. So the way the car is built makes it safe. The software makes it safe. It will save you money on gas, it'll save you money on maintenance. So you can kind of see why these vehicles are becoming very popular, why they're very well sought after. Not only that, they're cool, they're fun to drive, they're unlike any other vehicle on the road, they have quite a lot going for them. We do really well with pre-owned Teslas at Infiniti of Tacoma. We've probably bought and sold about 40 or 50 of them over the last couple of years, and we continue to do so. They always sell well for us. We're very familiar with these products. Probably don't know them as well as Tesla, but I'd say we know Tesla products probably better than most other non-Tesla car dealerships. So as far as questions go, adding onto your account, adding drivers, scheduling service, things like that, we're very familiar with it. And thanks for taking the time today to watch this video.